Hello everybody and welcome to Mr. Stansfield's education videos. Today we're going to be looking at how to make pigs or cows actually fly. Our final product is going to be some kind of version of this and this. We're going to basically take this picture and put it into with this foreground. So first step is to create our flying cow. We're going to do that with a picture of a cow, picture of a dove, and a picture of another cow, which is a little sillier. And we will get something like this. And then we'll bring in our background, add a sky and sort of the angelic god rays, add a halo, and we'll throw it into this background. So the first step is to open up your cow picture. This picture and the rest of the files are available on Google Classroom. And what we're going to do is go ahead and select layer 0, make sure that layer 0 is selected, hit Command T on the keyboard or Edit, Free Transform. I'm just going to rotate this file a little bit here, something like that. Then we're going to go ahead to go to Image and then Puppet Warp. Oops, not Content Aware. I clicked the wrong thing. Puppet Warp. There we go. And I can hit Command plus to zoom in a little bit, and I can hold the spacebar key to click and drag that around. So in this case, I want to kind of lock in an area right here, and I'm just going to kind of click on a couple of these points and kind of pull them out a little bit. Maybe bring that, there we go. Now we're talking. There we go. And we'll do the same thing with this leg here. Basically, if you click on a point with the puppet warp, you'll be able to get it to kind of do what you want. Remember, cows' legs bend this way. Just want that to look somewhat natural. And then maybe we'll extend this up a little bit there because I think we squished him a little bit. I want to make sure his legs aren't too skinny. And then here, the front legs, we can kind of pivot at that. Okay. Bend at the elbow or the knuckle there. I don't know what you'd call that on a cow, but sort of front part here. And something like that. I'm going to Command minus a couple times. Yeah, it's silly. That's the point. Okay. I'm actually just going to beef up that back leg a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. Pretty good. Again, you can hit the little checkbox right there or click Enter on the keyboard to finish that up. Now you could do one of two things. Now you could bring in the wings or you could bring in the new head. In any case, once you hit the F key to get this view, you'd have to hit it a couple times if you wanted to get back to bridge, or you could just go down to the bottom of the screen and click on the BR. Let's go ahead and open up the cow picture here. Double click that cow picture there. And we're going to use the color selection tool. So let's go to Select and then Color Range. And then we're going to go ahead and click on these colors here. We're going to hold down the Shift key on the keyboard and then click around here to get all of that blue to be selected. Let's just also click up there just to make sure we get it all. All right, I think we're looking pretty good here. I'm realizing that actually it's getting some of the cow's face, so that's actually not good. We want to turn our fuzziness down. That looks starting to look pretty good right around there, and we'll click OK. So now you can see it's got some selection here in the face. That's not actually what we're looking for. Maybe let's try a different selection method. So we can go to Select, Deselect. Let's go to the Magic Wand tool, which is this 1, 2, 3, 4th tool down. And it might look like this. The quick selection, you can just click and hold, and then you can get the Magic Wand tool. And again, if you hold the Shift key, you can just kind of keep adding to the selection, and it won't go into the face of the cow here. So it'll kind of recognize the contrast, recognize that you don't want to have all of that as part of your selection. And try to get the edges. These fuzzy ears are a little tough. One of the things you could do after you do that is go to Filter and then, not Filter, I'm sorry, Select, Modify, and then in this case you would expand. And we would just expand by like 3 pixels, and that's just going to bring it in just a little bit. And that's okay. We're going to actually add to this selection here, so we're going to go ahead and grab the Lasso tool. And what you can do is just carefully trace out the part of the face, part of the cow head here that you actually want to bring into the new file. I hit the wrong button there, so let's try that again. Nope, I want to invert the selection first. So let's go to Select and then Inverse, or Shift Command I. And then if you hold down the, nope, you don't have to hold down anything. It'll automatically default to subtracting. So, oh, what did I just do there? Undo, Command Z. So you have to kind of do what I'm doing here. So you make a selection, and then you have to keep kind of coming around, make circles almost. So once you get up here, you just have to come back around to the bottom. And then you want to go ahead and subtract all of the other parts of the photo that have any of those little marching ants around them. Something like that. And now just the head has been selected. If I hit the F key, we can see this full screen. And you can see the background here. I'm going to go ahead and hit Command J and then uncheck this little eyeball here in the background, and you can see what my head looks like. I'm not terribly worried about the edges, which are imperfect. This is kind of a fun, silly thing, so if it's not perfect, that's okay. I'm going to hit the F key a couple more times, and I'm ready to move this head onto this cow over here. So I'm going to get the Move tool, and then I'm going to click and drag that guy over here. You can see it's about the same size, but let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's go ahead and use the Free Transform tool. And again, that's Edit, Transform, and Free Transform is Command T is the shortcut key. I'm just going to make that nice and big. We want it to be kind of silly big. The other thing is that actually this angle looks a little bit off to me. So I'm going to hit Escape. Before I actually do that, I'm going to go ahead and go to Edit, Transform, and Flip Horizontal. And I think that might just look a little bit more normal, a little bit more natural. Command T, I can rotate it if I need to, something like that. Click and drag that out. Notice it is possible to kind of overstretch this a little bit, and when you're doing your transformation, you want to hold down the Shift key and drag from the corner. No matter where the mouse is, it will expand. So use the Shift key while you're doing that. Command T, rotate. Before I do, maybe what I'll do is just move this over here. I'm going to go back to my layer 0, and I'm just going to get the Eraser tool, which is this guy right here. E is the shortcut key on the keyboard. I'm just going to erase the head, where we know this other head is going to be. And there we go. And I'll just make this placement a little easier. Go back to layer 1, get the Move tool, click and drag, Command T, rotate, expand, and now we're getting somewhere, okay? Something like that looks about right. And I can hit this check mark or the Enter key. All right, Command minus F key. Yeah, looks silly enough to me. And I'm not too worried about if we looked at it 100%, we would see, it's not perfect. You'd see those ears are not perfect, the horns aren't perfect. That's okay. Just hit Command minus or Command 0. And all right, the next step is to add the wings. So let's open up our dove, and we're going to use the Magic Wand tool again, and that's this tool right here. The Magic Wand tool, click, and pretty much at this tolerance, change that number there. Right around 20 seems to be about the right amount. And then we are going to do the same thing, Command J, make a new layer. And you'll see here that I did that wrong. Okay, so we're going to undo that. We don't want to do that. We want to remember select inverse, very similar to our cow. Select the inverse, and then now we can go ahead and hit Command J, and eyeball, and now you just have your bird right here. And one of the things that we're going to want to do is get that eraser tool again. And we don't care about the bird, we just care about the wings, so we can kind of erase the bird using the eraser tool. If you need to make your eraser tool bigger or smaller, you could do that up here. All right, this 150, you can make it bigger and smaller right here. The shortcut key on the keyboard, though, is the right bracket will make a brush bigger, and the left bracket will make it smaller. Okay, we're getting somewhere now. So I'm going to hit the F key a couple more times, grab this tab right here, get the Move tool. And what I'm actually going to do is grab the Lasso tool. Before I grab the Move tool, I'm going to grab the Lasso tool, click and drag this around one wing, and then I'm going to get the Move tool and drag it in one wing at a time. So you can see here, there's that first wing, and then I'm going to go ahead and get the Lasso tool again right there. L is the shortcut key on the keyboard for the Lasso tool. Click and drag that around. Oh, I got to go select, deselect first. Then I'll go ahead and click and drag around here, and then I can go ahead and get the Move tool, and then I can go ahead and click and drag that over here. So now I've got two independent wings. I can adjust those accordingly. Now it's going to be important to take these wings and put them behind the cow. And so we go over here to our layers, and we can see that the layer 3 is the cow's left wing, and then layer 2 is the cow's right wing, and then the head is right here, layer 1, and then layer 0 is the body. So we're just going to take layer 2 and drag it below layer 0, layer 3 below layer 0, and then turn those back on. You can see that they'll be behind the body. We can label these, not a bad idea. So we're going to say body, and then double click on layer 1. It's not a double click so much as it's 2 single clicks, and this is the head. So you can hear slow, two slow clicks. Layer 2 is the wing 1, let's just say, and then wing 2, and hopefully that'll help to keep track of these things. All right, so I'm going to get the move tool. I'm going to move this wing around. Now, and typically when we're moving, when I have auto select layer, and then I think we want to make these wings a lot bigger. So I'm going to hit Command T, hold the Shift key, and click and drag that up like so. And yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Hit Enter or hit the checkbox right here. I'm going to hit the F key again and get this nice view. Wing 2, click it, Command T, hold the Shift key, expand that wing. We want it to be roughly the same size, maybe rotate it a little bit. Something like that. Looks pretty good. Yeah, feeling good about this. Okay. So we've got the head, we've got the wings, and this is pretty much where we want to be with the cow. We're going to add the halo later. So one of the things that you can do is take all of this right here and make it into a new layer. So the way to do that is to hold Shift, hold down Option, hold down Command. So hold down those 3 and then hit E. Now, you can see here layer 1 actually happened in between wing 1 and body. I'm going to hit Command Z. I don't want to do that. Actually, we want to hit the top layer. So select whatever your top layer is. In this case, it should be the head. Shift, Command, Option, hold those down, and then press E 1 time, and you'll see layer 1 right here. If I uncheck the rest of it, it's got everything in one layer. So we can go ahead and rename that as the full cow. At this point, I would recommend saving. Let's go File, Save As. Let's save it as a Photoshop file. That's a good thing. And we're going to go ahead and select the file name up here and just how you would normally save something, last underscore first underscore period underscore assignment. You could just say cow and save that. Okay, say okay. All right, I'm going to stop the video here and we'll pick up with part 2.